Okay, so it's a little bit of a heavy energy. I guess the best thing is, if you were a Taurian person, single for this month, then everything would be really nice and good for you. Let's just go through this spread. And I pulled out an extra card just to see, what you should do. The energy is a little bit challenging. Okay, so while I was shuffling, one of the message I got from this here is that I feel like you and your partner are very, very incompatible. So this is a card about, great chemistry, but lack of compatibility. And overall, for those of you who are single and who are not dating anybody right now, there's very, very strong potential here to be able to like meet somebody that is very, very attracted to you. So I feel like the relationship, for some reason, it flows only one way. Okay. Not you. I don't get that message with this card, but I feel like something is very, very one-sided. So it's like you're meeting somebody who's like very, very smitten by you, but you might not feel the same way. Or you are meeting somebody who is, I feel like who's almost your ideal, and there's a lot of chemistry, but there's just not a lot of compatibility. It doesn't mean that it can't work out, but it's just going to require a lot of self-awareness from both parties in order to handle that energy well. When two people are very incompatible, it can generate a lot of passion, a lot of desire, a lot of attraction. But in order to work together as a unit day in and day out and have a stable relationship and agree on like, the minutia of the details of the relationship, it requires two people to really respect one another, to trust one another wholeheartedly. And so it takes a very, very old, soul, mutually old souls, to be able to work things out in a manner where it can be sustainable. So I feel like that's what's happening here. You're attracted to somebody. You're very attracted to them, but I feel like the both of you might not be compatible. So I feel like some of you might be dealing with a Gemini. And I feel like, I feel air signs. There's a lot of swords here. So I'm going to go into that, but I feel like there's a lot of attraction, but there's also a lot of difficulties. Okay. So let's just, talk about your reading. I'm going to talk about, let me see here. I'm going to talk about the foundation first. The foundation is something you know to be true, and it's something that you're bringing to the table. Like you're coming into February. You're bringing into February with you. We have here the 5 of Wands, as well as the 3 of Swords. I feel like some of you are reconnecting with another person. The 3 of Swords, this is a card about separation. Either physical separation, like breaking up with somebody, and then this is now making up, or geographically, that you might have been separated from somebody and now you both are coming together. Okay. And because you both are coming together, it basically indicates a period where if you both have broken up, if the relationship has been very, very tumultuous, then there's this honeymoon stage where, you're on your best behavior, both of you, and you're trying not to argue, and you're trying to, see eye to eye, and you're trying to work together as a unit. And then for others of you who are separated because of geographical distance, I feel like you might have been struggling. You might have been really enamored with this person, and that geographical distance. If you're in a long distance relationship, it took its toll on you. It made you feel almost as if you can't be in this relationship because you want them to be with you all the time. That's the nature of the Lovers. The Lovers card, it generates like really intense chemistry where you feel almost like you're kindred spirits. You feel almost as if you can't live, you can't breathe without the other person. And that's not entirely healthy. But I feel like that's what's happening here. There was a very, very deep, dark period where you might have been separated from the other person, and it really affected you on an emotional level. And I feel like because it affected you so, you might have realized that, you might have really had this inner dialogue with yourself, and you might have grappled with your own inner conflict, and you might decide, I don't want to lose myself, and so I don't feel this is the right person for me. And then for others of you, you know, you might have been in this honeymoon stage. You might have gotten back together, and you both are on your best behavior because you don't want to fight and break up again, because you felt very empty and very depleted without the other person. So that's what I'm feeling here. Some of you have gotten back with an ex, and some of you are reconnecting with somebody that you might be far away from. In the past position, we have here the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Swords. First of all, I feel like, oh, sorry about that. This is a card about moving back to a situation, moving back to somebody from the past, even though there were lies and deception. Okay, so I feel like this is another separate part of you, where I feel like if you have recently gotten back with somebody from the past, you overlooked a lot of their lies, you overlooked a lot of their deception, and they likewise, you know, it goes both ways. They might have overlooked something you did because they couldn't stand to be apart away from you. And so I feel like they might have gotten back with you, and they might not have they might have, you know, tried to sweep things under the rug and not bring up these topics that might be contentious between the two of you. So I feel like somebody is forgiving somebody for some type of a indiscretion, transgression. And so overall, forgiving somebody is actually quite good. However, I feel like this is not a good situation for you to be in, because this is a very sneaky person, and they're kind of like, they're looking out for number one, and they're not somebody that's kind. They're not somebody that is genuine. And so if you're getting back with this person, if you're making allowances for this person, if you're so emotionally rattled up that when this person is out of your life, that you're able to overlook all of these indiscretions, then I feel like that's a very toxic relationship. Okay. So I feel like this is something that happened in the past. Some of you might have taken them back. Others of you, you might have dealt with this. You might have been, you know, cheated on, or you might have dealt with some cheating, infidelity, lies, deception in the past with another person. And it really broke your heart. It made you feel very, very emotionally dejected. It made you feel like you were questioning your sense of self-worth, okay? And as a result of it, some of you are just not giving it the time of day, and you're moving on. I feel like some of you might have been dealing with a water sign from the past, okay? So this is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. They are still coming into the picture, and they're still soliciting you. They're reaching out with an apology. They want to reconnect, and they want to find a way so that the both of you can move forward, reconcile, move forward as a couple. And I feel like others of you might have been dealing with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra that really did a number on you. That really, you know, like I feel like you deceived them, they deceived you. And I feel like this is a very, very karmic relationship here. And it is at a point where you have to accept this person for who they are. Just accept the fact that you're not meant to be with this person and move forward. I feel like there's still lingering chemistry. There's still a lot of lingering passion associated with the lovers. Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have here the King of Cups and the Six of Swords. So I feel like for others of you, it keeps showing me, you know, energies of going back, trying to fix things. If you have been dealing with somebody that cheated on you, for example, you know, like that might have been an air sign. I feel like it affected you emotionally in a way where you are very, very skeptical, where you might have like really smartened up, and you might have been kind of like guarded with your heart, and you're choosing very carefully who to give your heart away to. And either way, what I'm sensing as well is that moving away from that person from the past, no matter how much they try to apologize, I feel like you stood in your own truth, and you're not going to let them get the best of you. So rather than aiming for this, you know, very strong, passionate connection, I feel like you're being smart, and you're realizing that if they are willing to, you know, cheat on me or lie to me or treat me in a way that I didn't deserve, then they didn't love me. So you're seeing the situation realistically, and you're making the difficult emotional decision to walk away from it, because deep down you knew that the other person was not emotionally invested in you. Hence, they were able to do that. Okay, so I feel like a lot of maturation is happening for you. And then others of you who are dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, if this is an on again, off again type of relationship, I feel almost as if you're making a lot of allowances for them. So that means they come out like this. They might be controlling, manipulative, emotionally clingy and needy, and also like very, very emotionally irrational. So they might have been very jealous. They might have been jealous of the female friends or the guy friends that you hang out with. They might have tried to keep you to themselves. They might have done a lot of things that they might have tried to guilt trip you even. And I feel like all of these things are things that you are aware of. But you make allowances for them because you're just like, oh, they really love me, so they behave that way. Well, yes, but also it's coming from a place of insecurity. So I feel like this person has their own emotional issues that they dealt with. And I feel like you made a lot of allowances for them. So rather than seeing them like this, you feel almost as if, they're like this. And I feel like if you're dealing with that water sign, they were somebody at their best. They're able to really love, to be very kind and considerate and very genuine, at their best. But at their worst, they can be a little bit manipulative. And even, they can guilt trip you. So you're thinking of this and you're seeing them in their best light, and you're making allowances for all of these other bad behaviors. Okay. And so I would say that you're not looking at a situation realistically. And so I feel that you're trying to find ways for both of you to work together as a unit. So this is the Chariot card. And the Chariot card, it shows up here as the two seahorses. It's pulling the Chariot in opposite direction. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody that you have a lot of chemistry with, but lack of compatibility with. And likewise, in the outcome position in terms of what's coming through for you, we have here the Two of Cups in the reverse. And they're saying that you're on this merry-go-round with somebody who is either very emotionally controlling or somebody that has deceived you countless times. You're making allowances for it, and they're telling you that, this is the end of the line. You don't really have much to offer each other anymore. They likewise don't have enough to offer you, mainly because the relationship has run out. And overall, there's great passion, there's great chemistry, but the lack of compatibility is going to be ultimately the thing that breaks the relationship. If you can't really see eye to eye, and you can't agree on simple things. And then on top of that, we have here the Nine of Swords in the reverse position. Once you are able to tell yourself and be honest with yourself that this relationship is coming to an end, mainly because you both are not right for each other. It's a soulmate connection that needs to be severed because it's turning toxic. Then you're going to come into this realization as well. And you're going to be freed from it, okay? So no more ruminating about the past. No more, I want to say like guilt trips. I feel like this alleviation of guilt from both parties. If somebody cheated, I feel like they're living with a lot of guilt. And then likewise, if you have been staying in a relationship with someone where you know that it's not going anywhere, but you might have already fallen out of love with them, but you know that they love you a great deal and they're able to devote to you and things like that. And I feel like some of you are still staying in a relationship because of this overwhelming sense of guilt and obligation. Like they really love me and I don't want to break their heart. And so in terms of like advice on what you should do, and I'm sorry for the grim reading, Taurus. I'm very, very sorry. But I feel like some of you are dealing with some things that you need to release. And some of you are kind of like, you're sweeping important things, important revelations under the rug because you're not ready yet to move on. You're not ready yet to admit to yourself. You're not ready yet to like, I feel almost like to accept the truth of the matter. Okay. What I feel is happening here is I keep seeing people interfering in your relationships. And so they're telling you, be very, very strong in your foundation. Be very, very strong in your own truths. And if you're dating somebody and everyone is opposing you, like telling you this person's horrible, and this is not somebody that we like for you, this is not a healthy person for you to be around, I feel like maybe there's some truth to it if you're dealing with somebody who is emotionally irrational, right? And so you have to decide here, do you bandwagon, go with the crowd? Or do you love this person still? Do you love them enough to defend their honor? So I feel like you're hit hard with some major choices as it relates to your love relationships. And then for others of you who are single, I feel like you're fantasizing about somebody, like a water sign, okay? So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And this is a person that you're thinking so heavily about. And I feel like you're thinking about them in their sleep state. And I do feel there's a lot of passion associated with this person. It might have been an ex. For others, it might have been a new person that you're still thinking about heavily. And you're thinking about how to get them back into your life. Okay? For singles, I don't feel like a lot of you are dating or putting yourself out there. A lot of you seem to have recently, broken up. A lot of you have recently broken up. And you're still dealing with that whole breaking up process. You might have new people coming on the wings, like connections for one-night stands, for short-term relationships, for short flings, for social outings even. And I feel like if you were to do that, you wouldn't feel right doing that, because I feel like you're still heavily thinking about somebody from the past, all right? So that concludes the reading. I apologize if it's a little bit grim.